Adam doesn't hesitate to start fighting them all at the same time, showing off his amazing powers. When he is disarmed, he uses a soldier as a weapon to hit all the others. There's a monster soldier with spines on its body that Adam also uses to attack. When he finally retrieves his sword, the enemies immediately surround him, but Adam rises with a shock wave to push them off. The fight continues and Adam handles every warrior no matter what kind of crazy ability they have. Rander watches it all, finally feeling proud of his son. Goatman desperately attacks Adam with his axe and corners him on the bridge above the volcano, but Adam breaks his horns and punches him to throw him into the lava. Once all the warriors are down, Adam gets ready to attack Skeletor, but Evil Lyn uses her magic to freeze him. When Skeletor threatens to kill Rander, Adam's anger manages to break the spell and he shoots a bolt of energy that Skeletor dodges. The bolt hits the wall and the cave starts to crumble until the ceiling collapses on top of Rander. Adam immediately rushes to move all the debris and finds his father, who apologizes for not having been nicer when he was a child. Then Rander dies in his son's arms. While Adam cries, Skeletor knocks him out with his staff. When Adam wakes up, he's back in his human form in a cell with the other Eternians. Marlena is also there and Adam hugs her while giving her the bad news. Meanwhile, Skeletor raises the sword and says the right words, but nothing happens. He furiously grabs Evil Lyn's neck and demands an explanation, so she tells him she can do a special ritual if they put the sword on its original altar. Skeletor and his men immediately leave for Castle Grayskull. In the cell, Duncan and Adam bond over their feelings of failure. Adam remembers that Duncan used to tell him to never give up and they agree they have to keep fighting. They're interrupted by Tila, who has a surprise for Adam. His tiger Cringer is here too. He can talk now and licks Adam in glee. Feeling encouraged, Adam gives a speech about teamwork and shares his fond memories of every person in the crowd, convincing them to keep fighting. Then the group pushes the gate while Roboto shoots the rock above it until everything collapses. On their way out, the Eternians find a group of bad guys, but it's easy for the heroic warriors to quickly bring them all down with their abilities. Afterward, the warriors steal the enemy's ships and return to Aeternos to fight all the soldiers that have taken over their beloved city. A vicious battle ensues as the heroic warriors fight thug after thug without mercy. At the same time, Adam's group takes a ship to Castle Grayskull, and Duncan tells Tila and Adam to go ahead while he protects the bridge. Cringer is scared, but Adam convinces him that he's a battle cat and Cringer agrees to be ridden. Inside the castle, Skeletor puts the sword in the altar. At that moment the heroes burst in and Cringer brings down the guards. Adam takes the chance to jump on the altar and retrieve the sword while Tila attacks Evil Lyn. When Tila is frozen by Evil Lyn's spell, she breaks through it and keeps on fighting. Beast Man also shows up and uses his whip on Cringer, who bites it to bring it down. On the bridge, Duncan and Roboto shoot anyone who comes close. However, the troops keep coming, so the duo shoots a statue to make it fall on the bridge, which quickly collapses. Unfortunately, Trapjaw shows up in an aircraft and opens fire at Roboto until it explodes. A furious Duncan jumps on the ship and destroys the window to tackle Trapjaw. He proceeds to beat him up and puts a grenade in his mouth before jumping out. The ship then crashes with a big explosion. Duncan rushes to check on Robot and is relieved to see that its head is still working. In the castle, Adam can't transform because he's busy blocking Skeletor's attacks. The sword receives so many magic blasts that it ends up blowing up into pieces. Skeletor picks up the handle and mocks the sword before grabbing Adam by his head, burning him until he's seeing hallucinations. In a gym, Skeletor mocks him for being a weakling before throwing a weight at him to push him into the next illusion. At the restaurant, Adam's date actually shows interest in his story. Suddenly she turns into Skeletor, who drags Adam by the hair while hitting random people. Next, Adam is thrown on his desk and his boss reminds him of their meeting. Skeletor appears in formal clothes and grabs Adam's neck, saying he'll never be a hero and that Eternia is a dream of something he isn't. Back in reality, Skeletor stabs Adam with a piece of the sword before throwing him into an illusion of his room. Hussein checks on him and reminds him to pay rent before dying. Adam looks at his old drawings and finds one of the sorceress as all the papers start flying around him. Then the bird appears in his room and begins to talk, confirming it's the sorceress. She explains that the sword doesn't matter. The spell says I have the power because the sword has transferred the power to Adam himself. As his chest glows, the sorceress transforms and tells him that she chose him as the vessel because his compassion and humanity will make him a better hero. Then Adam wakes up in the real world and removes the sword from his chest. The power heals his injury and summons the rest of the pieces to complete the sword. Adam says the magic words and finally transforms again with such power that it's seen from the city. Remembering the sorceress words, Adam tries to talk to Skeletor and asks him to end this endless cycle of violence. Skeletor laughs and attacks Adam with his magic, triggering another battle. The mocking continues as they fight since Skeletor believes that Adam doesn't know how to use this power. When Skeletor corners him, Adam's eyes glow and he explains he knows how to use his power, he just prefers not to. Then he starts beating up Skeletor without breaking a sweat. After throwing him against a column, Adam charges his fist with power before he continues the beating and throws Skeletor around like a potato sack. Seeing as her leader is losing, Evil Lyn leaves the castle. Skeletor shoots magic at Adam, who blocks it all with his bracelets. When a desperate Skeletor agrees to talk, Adam grabs his staff and charges it with power until it explodes, creating a huge shock wave that expands all over the area. Skeletor also blows up, only leaving his skull behind. Adam then reunites with his friends and they leave together. 6 months later, Eternos is almost entirely rebuilt and Marlena is back on the throne.